bro.
Let's get this. Let's get it.
Let's get it. You ready? Hello and welcome to the podcast that currently does not have a name.
Welcome, man. I'm excited, bro.
My name is Jacob ANGAELOS.
My name is Jacob Awada.
Call me Jack.
Call me Jack.
AKA Smush.
No, bro, I'm not Smush. Come on. We know who Smush is. Smush is currently not here, a part of this podcast.
He's currently flaking on us.
He's flaking on us.
He doesn't want it.
He doesn't want it. That's Smush. We gotta think of a nickname for you, though.
We'll get there, bro. We'll get there.
Isaac Bonga?
I see.
Let's go, we'll go Bonga.
That's insulting, bro.
What?
Bonga.
Yeah, he was
He's
early second round pick, bro.
Early second round
A lot of potential.
You can be out of the league in
He's
about 5
only 19.
minutes. You can be out of the league in about 5 minutes.
He's a wizard now, though. He's not a Laker, so.
He's a wizard. Well, we're a bunch of hoop heads, and our main goal of this podcast is to just talk hoops and strictly hoops. Sometimes we'll get some lifestyle in there, but we're just fans of the game.
Strictly hoops.
Mm-hmm.
All buckets. Okay. This podcast, I'm really excited. This is something that we've been talking about for a good amount of time.
Probably an entire year.
A year, maybe a little longer.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm happy that we're putting it to fruition finally. Because I think you guys are going to really like what you hear. And,
we're going to get some big things going. Yeah. And hopefully by the start of the NBA season, we'll try to record every week. Knock on wood. Hopefully. But yeah, we're in the wake of a huge NBA offseason. Isn't that right, Jacob? Lots of dominoes falling into place. Huh?
Absolutely. I think this was... I don't know if it's the craziest NBA offseason, at least for sure that I've witnessed. Like, I'm only 22. Mm-hmm. But this was definitely, like, crazy.
Honestly, it's up there for me. I honestly might think it might be the craziest. Because before this, the craziest by far, and everybody I think agreed on it, was the summer of 2010, right?
Yeah, of course. That's what I was thinking, too.
Yeah, LeBron with his decision going to the Heat and everything. That was crazy, and it really shook up the NBA for... the rest of the decade, it seems like, and he really kicked off a decade of player empowerment, and it's shifted the way players behave these days. You know, they're not tied up to a team for their whole career like it used to be, like the Michael Jordans, the Reggie Millers, and the late Kobe and Dirk and Tim Duncan, like those guys.
Yeah, those times are long gone, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's now become so normalized and okay to just change teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing.
No.
That's just the way the league is going.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's not a one-man team anymore. We don't have a Dirk.
No.
It's only the Mavs, the Kobe, the Lakers.
It just doesn't exist anymore, man. And you even see it with the most loyal players. Like this offseason, Westbrook. He got moved out of OKC after being there his whole career. He wanted to be there, but...
You think so? I don't know.
I currently think, or I truly think deep down in his heart, he wanted to be there, but... he knew it wasn't the best basketball situation, and I think that's what everybody's looking for these days.
I think that Westbrook staying with OKC after Durant decided that he was going to move on to Golden State was more of a decision to say, I'm not like that guy. Mm-hmm. Because he embraced the city, right? They took him in. So,
think it was a business move?
Well, he got his money. Okay, that was a huge contract, and I don't think anyone is going to pay him that.
No.
Anywhere else.
Yeah.
Considering his contract was really hard to move, it was exchanged for Chris Paul. So, it was big.
Equal contracts. Albatross contracts, for that matter.
Huge, bro.
Yeah, bro.
So...
We might still see it in a few players, though. I think we'll see it in Steph. Maybe Clay. And then we'll probably see it with Dame. Dame's been like that his whole career. I remember people saying, like, he only went to Weber State because that was the only... or that was the first offer he got, right?
Yeah, I mean...
And he did it to stay, or he's doing the same thing in Portland. He's staying loyal there, and he only wants to win a championship there. And I respect that.
See, loyalty is something I highly respect, but at the same time, you have to account, like, what do you want your legacy to be, you know? Mm-hmm. Do you want to be known as that guy that just embraced the city and did everything you could for that city, but didn't win? I don't know. It's
or do you want to be a champion?
Or do you want to be a champion?
It's always a debate, man.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Carmelo was like that with New York, right? he's from New York.
Mm-hmm.
He went back home, and he wanted to embrace that city, and he had a chance. We heard him talk to Stephen A. Smith on the ESPN First Take,
First Take, yeah.
He had a chance to go to Miami, and he turned it down. And now we know that he regretted that move, right?
Yeah.
So
could have easily brought him a championship. He was in the peak of his powers at the time.
We saw KG talking about Anthony Davis and why he felt he didn't want to leave Minnesota, but he knew going to Boston was the best move, and he reaffirms it now that he wishes he could have went earlier. So
right.
I think players, when they really, are in the moment and they decide what do they want, if they really want to win. Like I know Dame does, but he's also getting his money.
Oh yeah, he's definitely getting his. Him and CJ.
It's tough.
Yeah.
But definitely, bro.
Yeah. Well, coming into this season, I think this free agency really shook up the landscape, and it's exciting, man. I don't think I've ever been so excited to go into a season because, the NBA is a league of dynasties and legacies, and I think it's safe to say that in this league we've had the champions predetermined every year for a long time. Everybody saw it coming with the Warriors. Everybody saw it coming with the Heat and the Spurs and the Lakers. It was the 2000s. Yeah, and you occasionally have these years where other teams break through the mold. Like you got the 2011 Mavs, you got the 2019 Raptors, newly crowned champions. You got the 2004 Pistons who shocked the Lakers,
Absolutely.
You occasionally have those teams that, break through and kind of stop that, predetermined nature of the league, but it mostly is the way it is, I don't remember a season where going into it, you really can't tell who the champion is. Like, it's a dartboard right now. Like, you can convince me that probably 10 teams are going to win the championship next year, and I think you can make a case for it,
10 teams?
Yeah, I think
count them down right now.
10 teams? All right. Number 1, the Lakers.
Okay, I agree.
The Clippers.
I agree.
Houston.
Okay.
Philly.
Sure.
Well, do you think they're a year away or what?
I mean,
you sound a little hesitant on that one.
I'll give it to them.
Okay.
I'll give it to them.
Just face value.
Face value.
Face value.
It's possible.
All these teams.
They have a chance.
Face value. Okay. Milwaukee.
Okay. Well, theoretically, right? It could happen.
Denver. No.
I don't see Denver winning a championship.
You don't see any possibility.
I don't know.
Portland.
No.
Golden State.
Depending on how Clay comes back, I think will determine whether or not they can win the championship.
Yeah, and I want to bring that up.
So if we're talking
I want to bring that up in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Healthy Clay?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, they're in the mix.
Definitely.
Okay. Utah.
Wow. That was a curveball.
I'm going to say...
Yes, they have a chance.
Yeah? You put them in the mix.
Absolutely. Mike Conley, completely underrated move.
Maybe there is 9, but if you have teams at full strength, you can have Brooklyn there, but they're obviously not in contention next year because Kevin Durant is sidelined with an Achilles injury. But a fully healthy Nets team, I think, will be in the mix as well.
What about Boston right now?
I think Boston is a player away.
Really?
I think they can contend to be in the finals in the East just because of the weakness of the conference and just because of how good a coach Brad Stevenson is. And I think if everybody on the Celtics buys into his system, they could be very successful. Like you saw them almost pull off a finals berth in 2018 against LeBron and the Cavs. And I think that's because everybody bought into their roles and really kind of knew what they were doing. I think last year's team definitely had the potential to do that, but fell short because I think a lot of the times guys would just sit there and watch Kyrie just make plays, and then it messed with everybody's chemistry. Some guys were a little disgruntled. Jaylen Brown probably didn't play up to his full potential. Gordon Hayward was still recovering. It was a weird team, to say the least. I don't know what you think.
I think they're going to surprise some people.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, because first of all, the expectations of last year, they're not there anymore, right? People don't expect Boston to come out to that same
so there's no pressure
level. There's no pressure. Kemba Walker fixes all chemistry problems in regards to like Kyrie Irving and all that stuff.
Right.
Kyrie's gone.
Right.
Terry Rozier's gone. Okay.
Right.
That was another locker room
a little bit
problem.
of a toxic face in the locker room.
It was. Not that he's not a good player, but it just didn't really work.
He just wanted to get his.
I think Gordon Hayward has another year under his belt.
Right.
I don't think he'll
After
be
this injury.
Utah Gordon Hayward. He won't be.
Is he ever going to be back to that level?
As of now, I don't think so. No.
We have to see another season?
No. But I think this year, I think he could average like 16 or 18 points and actually have an impact.
I see that being realistic.
And I think Jaylen Brown hears all the noise, right, about his potential and all this stuff. And dude, 4 Celtics are playing in Team USA, so they're going to have that chemistry going into the season.
Honestly, and I think it's very valuable. Like a lot of people are saying, it could get them tired, but I think it's very valuable for them to develop that bond together. And I think it's their core 4. You got Smart, you got Tatum. We'll see how Tatum plays up to this year. Everybody really has high hopes for him.
Shit, for the AD trade, Boston could have had Anthony Davis right now.
Could have been there. But I don't know how Jaylen Brown is going to play up to his potential. He spent a lot of last year just taking some silly mid-range jump shots. I think if he fixes that and he plays true to his game, he'll live up to his potential. But we'll just have to wait and see. I think it's an interesting team. Like, I really do think they're one guy away, though. Because, you see Kyrie leaving and it might have a benefit for them because of, the issues he caused in the locker room and everything.
Yeah.
I really think they really missed out on getting Horford. And they lost in the Philly. And I think that's a big problem because Philly's only struggle was against Horford. And now that they have him on their team, like, they were starting to figure it out. But a big problem and why they couldn't get past the Celtics in prior years is because Horford really locked down Embiid and had him figured out, And Horford's a good glue guy. And, you need those types of guys like the Draymonds who sacrifice and know their role and are willing to take a back seat in order for the betterment of the team. I don't think Cantor is even close to that level. Cantor has a lot of issues defensively.
That guy Cantor, bro.
Yeah. The only way they could get success out of him is just pick and roll till you die. He's a great offensive big man. He's a yapper,
He's a yapper.
He does get a lot of offensive boards. Like, he'll crash the offensive rebounds, but there's just some holes defensively in his game that you can't get back,
Some?
A lot. And, they're going to miss Aaron Baines, too,
They lost Baines as well.
They lost Baines to the Suns. Yeah.
They lost that grittiness,
It's the grittiness that made him one of the top defenses in the league, We'll see how it goes. I think I'm just making a prediction, throwing it out there. Okay? I keep saying they're one guy away. I think, I've been on Instagram all summer. I've seen Jason Tatum working out with his buddy from high school, Bradley Beal.
Oh no, I knew you were going to say it.
You knew I was going to say it, but I really think it's a possibility. Like, I know Beal is convincing himself that he's going to stay in DC, but as you could see, as we were talking about earlier, things change. Things change, bro. Westbrook said he wanted to be in OKC for his whole career, but, the circumstance sometimes doesn't work in your favor, I think Beal is a winner, and he wants to win, and I don't think he's enjoying his situation in Washington, and I think he's going to find his way out by the trade deadline. And I think his number one destination could be to Boston. And Boston definitely has the assets still. They've got to develop in Brown. You could throw in Smart's contract, and they still have the Memphis pick, and I believe they have another extra first-round pick next summer.
This is what bothers me, okay? Because when the Lakers, right, there was all this talk about the Lakers pursuing Bradley Beal. And they said, what is it going to take to get it done?
No, man.
And they said it's going to take
Corners,
Lonzo, Ingram, Kuz. What? And if you're Boston, Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart? Are you serious? So,
You know,
I don't know.
Honestly,
I don't know what it is.
Honestly, it bothers me too because being a Lakers fan, we might be biased, but to be honest, I don't see a difference from the Celtics core. Like, I don't see them being that significantly better than the Lakers core. People will look at the Celtics and like the league as a whole regards the Celtics core as like having such a high ceiling, and I don't see why people think Jason Tatum is that much better than Brandon Ingram. Are we sure about that?
Can I tell you why they think so? Because this is where the Lakers messed up, okay? When you have players that you value, you can't just easily shop them or put them in trade talks.
And let it
Because
leak.
it shows, and I don't even want to get started about that. Because it shows, okay, that you don't value these players as much as you're saying.
Right.
But when it comes to Danny Ainge, right, it's not easy to pry anything from him, okay? No. So people can, like, at least acknowledge that he really values those players.
And he'll get the job done.
He didn't get it done this offseason.
No.
Definitely. He deserves a lot of criticism. But I think that when it comes time to make a crucial decision, not factoring in this offseason, he can get it done. I think if he ships Jaylen Brown, it has to be now, because if he has a bad season, his
value is gone. He's been in the league for 4 years now, and he was due for an extension this summer. And I think he's playing for a contract this year, so I think Jaylen Brown's going to be on another level because he's seeing guys like Jamal Murray. There's another guy who got an extension from his draft class.
From whose draft class?
Let me think.
Jaylen Brown's?
Mm-hmm. Jamal Murray got a 5-year, $170 million
locked him up
extension. They locked him up.
Good move or bad move, real quick? I just want to know your opinion.
And Ben Simmons, sorry. Before I continue, Ben Simmons also got his 5-year, $170 million extension. If you're Jaylen Brown, are you not thinking, where's mine?
You should be. I mean, Julius was too.
Mm-hmm.
And Julius ended up getting up for it.
So, I think, what was the question you were asking me a second ago?
I want you to grade the Jamal Murray extension. Like, was it overpaid?
Mm-hmm.
It might be overpaid.
Mm-hmm.
Was it worth it for Denver?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, just your thoughts. If you want to grade it, give me an A, B.
I'll give it a B.
Give it a B?
Here's why. How old is he? 22, 23? He's still young. He's got some room to grow. And they're just getting their feet wet in the playoffs this year. I really didn't count Denver this year. I was never really fond of them. While other people were saying they're a real threat to be in the Western Conference Finals and the finals, I was like, no. They're a year away. But they got some pretty valuable playoff experience under their belt last year. Sorry, that's a text from my buddy Peter. My buddy Smush.
Smush Parker. Oh man, this guy.
So, I think...
You can't pry free agents to Denver. Okay, so...
I think it's necessary.
You had no choice.
No, that's why I think...
You locked up Jokic. You lock up Jamal Murray. Those two are the face of your franchise.
Right, okay? And I think it's a good decision.
Great decision. I'll give it an A.
So you'll give it an A?
I'll give it an A.
Yeah, I'll give it a B because I don't think Jamal Murray is going to be a super duper star, and I think that's super duper star money. But I think he could definitely live up to it.
I put him on that. Don't give me criticism. I put him on the Trae Young level.
Trae Young.
I think Trae Young's going to be a stud.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it.
Mm-hmm. Ice Trae.
But I just love the way Jamal Murray plays, man.
Mm-hmm.
He plays with grit.
Mm-hmm.
He can shoot the ball.
Yeah.
He can handle the ball.
He's a competitor, man. He'll get in your face.
I love it.
He'll get in your face, and he has a ferocious, FU edge to his game. Yeah.
Big FU.
Yeah. And, I mentioned earlier why I think Denver could really be a contender. And I think it's just because of how stellar they could be defensively next year, 2 years ago, they were one of the worst teams defensively in the league. And, credit to Mike Malone. I think they were the top defense in the league last year.
Just added Jeremy Grant. I had him on fantasy. Average like 2 blocks, bro.
Yeah, bro. That's what I'm saying. Jeremy Grant is I really like that addition to their team.
Yeah.
He's a glue guy you want on your team. And, when you're rolling long defensive lineups like Torrey Craig, Jeremy Grant, and, Will Barton.
Will Barton.
Yeah, no, those are some dogs, bro. And I think, like, in a tight playoff game, they'll prevail. You know, I remember the triple overtime game against Portland. Those guys were not folding on defense. And with another year of experience in their belt, bro, I think they'll be in the mix. I don't know what you think.
You know, I kind of want to give Denver more credit than I did initially about them being a contender. Because I do another year under their belt. They locked up Jamal Murray. They traded for Jeremy Grant. They have the cohesiveness and that chemistry that most teams don't have, including the Lakers.
Right.
Maybe the Clippers, but they just added 2 big pieces, which is going to take some adjustment.
Right.
Okay?
So I think Denver, it gives you a big advantage this year, man.
Yep, I agree.
The continuity,